the session and let me share my screen. Okay, fine. Right. Okay. So we can create these many objects. Okay, 32,760 SQL Server supports 32,767 databases in SQL Server. In that, 5 system databases will come automatically whenever you install the SQL Server. So whatever the 5 system databases, master database, model database, MSDB database, TempDB database. Can anyone tell me what is the 5th system database?
Those database.
Resource database. Okay, resource database. So where I can see the system databases, if you expand this databases, there you can see system databases. There are two types of databases. Actually, this point we have already discussed: the system databases and user databases. System databases means we are going to get these system databases once you install the SQL Server. Okay, these system databases will come along with the installation. Okay, user databases means the databases which you are going to create. Those databases are called user databases. Okay, so we have two types of databases: system databases, user databases. System databases will come automatically with the installation. User databases we are going to create it. Okay, if you see here, master database, model database, MSDB database, TempDB database, these are the 4 system databases you can see. But you cannot see one more system database, that is resource database. That resource database will be in hidden mode because of security concerns. Microsoft, okay, just put this resource database in the hidden mode. You cannot see the resource database in the management studio, but I'll show you the data files and log files of a resource database. Okay, so we have 4 system databases apart from the resource database: master, model, MSDB, TempDB. We'll discuss about these 4 system database in today's class. Okay, what master will do, what model will do, what MSDB will do, what TempDB will do. Right, master is very important. Okay, master is very important database. Whenever you start the SQL Server, master database will start first. Okay, what and all things will contain in the master database means all the supported files of other system databases and other user databases paths will be found in the master database. All other system databases, all other user databases paths means what? Say for example, if you go to employee database, if you see here data file path and log file path, you can see one path, you can see here, right? This path will be stored in the master database. Okay, this is the path. Okay, if you see here, okay, if you expand this window, this is the path, right? Path, you can see this path, the path of all other databases including system databases like model, MSDB, TempDB. Okay, all the paths of other databases will be stored in the system database, sorry, master database. Okay, so once master comes online, then master database will check this path whether this path is existed or not. If this path is existed in the master catalog, master database catalog, then master database will directly go to this path physically. Okay, master database will directly go to this path physically, and it will simply search whether the files are there or not. Okay, here let me go like this. Okay, let me copy this path here. Okay, if you go see here, you can see employee database physical file, employee database log file, master database physical file, master database log file, model physical file, model log file, MSDB physical file, MSDB log file, sales physical file, sales log file, TempDB physical file, TempDB log file. So in this path, all the system databases and user databases paths, I mean like database physical files are there, right? This path will be stored by the master database, and once master is started, it will try accessing this path. Then all the system databases are there, their supported files are there. Then only those databases will come online. Say for example, someone deleted this employee log, this file physically, someone deleted this employee database log file physically, the physical file has been deleted. In that case, once master comes online, it will search whether employee database data file is there or not, employee database log file is there or not. If any file is missed, master database will not allow employee database to come online, so employee database will not be online, right? So not only user databases, it will check for the system databases, other system databases as well, like model database and your MSDB database and your temp database. These are very important system databases. If these system databases are not available or not online, your SQL server will not start. Okay, let me mute all of you. If you have any questions, just unmute and let me know. Okay, right. So if your path or if any system database or user database physical file is not available, then simply that system database or user database will not come online. If the user database will not come online, not an issue, your SQL server will be up and running. But imagine your model database is not online or your tempdb is not online, your SQL server will not be online. Your SQL server will not be online. You cannot connect to the SQL server, you cannot access the SQL server. So all system databases and user databases files location will be stored in the master database. Master database will contain the metadata of the SQL server. What is meant by metadata? Metadata means data about the data, right? So here, what is meant by data of SQL server? Metadata means your system databases, and user databases, data files, and log files, locations. Okay, how many databases? Your master database will know how many files. Your master database will store the details, how many logins. Okay, how many logins. Say for example, earlier while connecting to the SQL server, okay, what I did, simply I just click on the connect button and I just simply, okay, select that connect button, right? Select the server name and authentication mode, then click on connect button. What happened internally? Actually it will search this login. This login is there, right? Username, you can see here username which is grayed out. Your master database will search in its own database whether this login is existed or not. If the login is existed, then it will search the password. Okay, password is correct or not for SQL Server authentication. For Windows authentication, of course you are going to complete the authentication in the Windows level as already. Okay, just 1 minute please. Hello.
Yes, on karo.
Okay, okay. Right. Okay. So your master, whenever you just try connecting to the CC, for example, I have selected SQL Server authentication. I just gave some name, okay, Shanmukh. I just gave some login name Shanmukh, and I just gave the password. So whether this login is existed or not, whether the password is correct or not, who will check? This information will be stored in the master database, right? Your master database will check all the logins, usernames and passwords are correct or not. If you give the wrong password or if the username is not existed, it will throw 18456 error like this. Okay, 18456 error. So who is like throwing this error? Actually your master database is throwing this error. Okay, your master database knows whether this login is there or not, whether the password, even though if the login is there, whether you gave the correct password or not, everything will be controlled by your master database. Okay, what and all things it will store? It will store the all system objects, like how many tables, columns, all metadata of the particular system, I mean like objects. And one of the core important database to manage the SQL server, instance level configuration settings will be stored in the master database. Instance level configuration settings means whether authentication mode is SQL authentication or Windows authentication. Okay, if you see here, right click properties, you can see lot of settings, right? These are the instance level properties. Okay, collation settings and is clustered fast. These are the values, right? If you go to memory, you can see memory settings and all. If you go to processors, you can see the processors values and all. Security, Windows authentication, SQL Server authentication. These are all the instance level settings. All this information will be stored in the master database. What not? Everything will be stored in the master database only. So master database is very critical database, very important database. If master database is not accessible, your SQL server will not come online. If master database is not accessible, your SQL server will not come online. Why? Because if master database not comes online means it cannot access other objects. If it cannot access other objects means it cannot bring the SQL server online. Okay, so that is the issue with the master database. So all the metadata will be stored in the SQL server master database. Whenever you start the SQL server, first master database will come. It will check whether everything is good or not, then only it will start the SQL server. Then the SQL server will completely come online. Then only you can connect to the SQL server, you can run any queries and all. And your particular logins information, their passwords information, other system databases and user databases, paths and files location will be stored in the master database. Linked service information will be stored in the master database. Endpoints information will be stored in the master database. If there is no master database, there is no SQL server, we cannot start the SQL server and all. So master database is that much important. Whenever you start the SQL server, first master database will start. Okay, all right. So you can see whenever you start the SQL server, actually there will be a startup parameters for this SQL server. What is meant by startup parameter? Okay, let me go to the uh, configuration manager. Okay, whenever you install SQL server, there are two tools will come. One is management studio up to SQL server 2014, okay, or 16. Management studio is inbuilt. Okay, so that whenever you install the SQL server, you can simply select management tools, automatically management studio will come. Okay, from SQL server 2017 onwards, management studio is not inbuilt, you have to download explicitly and you have to install it. So my suggestion is just try downloading management studio in the local machine. Don't download it in the virtual machine. Okay, it may block lot of process, so it will be very difficult. Why? Because your virtual machine is not completely ready. Okay, so you have to select lot of certificates and all to download any software. So try downloading the management studio in your local machine. Once it was successfully downloaded, copy that file to the virtual machine. Okay, how to copy a file from local machine to virtual machine? Can anyone tell me how to copy a file from your local machine to virtual machine?
Go to storage and
Okay, go to storage.
your virtual box
Okay,
and attach the file.
okay, I have to attach that file. In that case, I can only attach ISO files. Okay, I want to copy a document, or else I want to copy a, see, for example, if you download management studio, it will be .exe file, executable file, right? So you cannot attach any files other than ISO files. Here you can only attach ISO files. Any files that are in the ISO format, those files only you can attach in the storage. But I want to copy an exe file, I want to copy a notepad, I want to copy a Word document, or I want to copy an Excel sheet, or else I want to copy any file from your local machine to virtual machine. For that, what you have to do, you have to connect to the server remotely like this first. First, you have to connect to the server remotely. Once the remote connection is established between your local machine and your virtual machine, then you can copy anything. Right click, simply copy, and there you can see, okay, go to your virtual machine. Okay, there you can see, just paste it. That's it. Okay, sometimes this paste option will be disabled. Why? Why? Because if you don't connect to the server remotely, usually the paste option will be disabled like this. See, paste shortcut is there, like how it was disabled. You can see the paste option will be disabled. So once, that's why I have discussed about the remote connections. It will be easy to copy the files between your local machine and virtual machine. So make sure you can easily copy between the files, between the machines. Okay, using your copy and paste option, nothing is there. But for that, you have to connect to the server remotely. You cannot connect to the server, you cannot copy the files if you connect it to the server directly like this. Okay, if you see, if you log into this machine, okay, it will be logged in, right? There you cannot copy and paste it. For that you have to copy, I mean, like, for that you have to connect to the server remotely. Then only you can simply connect to the copy the files from your local machine to virtual machine and all, right? Madhavi, fine? Right, this is what you asked,
Fine, sir.
right? Yeah, okay, fine. So try to copy it now. Let me know if you have any issues or any errors. Okay, right. So this is all about your system data, sorry, master database. Master database is very crucial database and all the SQL server configuration settings, all the other databases paths, files paths, logins, login passwords, linked server information, and your particular endpoints information, everything, whatnot, everything, it will be stored in the master database only. So whenever you start the SQL server, actually your master database will start first, then only it will bring all the databases or all the objects into online. So immediately, if anyone asked what happened once you start the SQL server, how the SQL server is going to start. So for that, if you want to check that one, what you have to do is just go to your configuration manager. Okay, configuration manager means it is one more tool like a management studio. Okay, you are going to get this configuration manager with the installation only. While installing the SQL Server, if you select management tools, automatically you will get the management studio and configuration manager for SQL Server versions less than 2016. For 2017, management studio you have to install explicitly, but configuration manager will come automatically. So if you simply type configuration, you can see SQL Server configuration manager. Go to the SQL Server configuration manager. There, if you see, you can see lot of options, SQL Server services, okay, and network configurations and all. You can see, go to your SQL Server services. This is the main service. If you go to services.msc, you can see 5 or 6 services, right? But if you go to your configuration manager, for every instance you can only see four services. One is main service, database engine service. Second one is agent service. Third one is full text service, and fourth one is browser service. These four services only you can see in the configuration manager. If you install multiple instances, okay, right, how many services you can see here? If you have two instances, how many services you can see here? If you install two instances, how many services you can see here? You know the answer. As of now, I have one instance in this machine, so I can see four services. If you install two instances, how many services you can see?
Six.
How many?
I think six.
Sorry, six, huh?
4 plus 3, I think 7, sir.
Okay. Right. Okay. Very good. Seven services you can see. Why? Because you can see here. Okay. Browser is a shared service. Okay. So it will be exist only once per instance. Right. Even though you have 10 instances, how many instances we can install in a box? How many instances we can install in a box? Huh? How many SQL Server instances I can install in a box?
49.
50 instances.
15 seconds.
50 instances. Okay.
49
Why?
plus 1.
Why again you are confusing after 3 weeks of the course? We can install 50 instances. 49 plus 1. One is default instance. 49 are named instances. Please don't confuse. Okay. And if you said, if anyone asked this same question in the interview, if you are saying like 49, 50 like that, if you are having any doubt, then immediately, okay, our HR will call back you. Okay. Like that, you are going to get the answer. They will not ask next question itself. Okay, you should be very confident. Even though you are saying wrong answer, try to be confident. Okay, I can't hear that silence. Right, fine. Right, so you can see 7 services if you install two instances. Why? Because browser is a shared feature, shared service. So you can see the name is not there in the brackets. For these 3 services, name is there. That means these are the specific services. Okay, if you install two instances, 3 specific plus 3 specific, 6 services plus one browser service, 7 services, you are going to get it. Okay, right. So what is meant by startup parameters? Go to your main service properties. Go to the main service properties. If you see here, startup parameters tab, there you can see 3 different files. Let me copy these files. Okay, let me copy these files. Control A, Control C, and let me open in a notepad. Control A, Control V. Okay, right, this is one startup parameter. Next thing is this one. Control A, Control C, and Control V here. Right, let me do the format. Okay, Control Z. Right. Right. This is the second file. And let me go to the third file and let me copy this Control A, Control C and Control V. These are the three startup parameters of the SQL Server, which is very important. If anything happened to these startup parameters, your SQL Server will not start. Okay. What are the three startup parameters? Your master database data file. Okay. And your master database log file. Okay. And your right, these are the three files you can see. -d, -e, -l. Okay, -d, -e, -l. -d means data file. Which data file? Master database data file. If you see here, master.mdf. -e, okay. -e means error log file, means it will write each and everything if your SQL server is not going to start. If it is started successfully, no issues. But if it is not going to start, it has to write somewhere, right? That is called your error log file. Error log. Okay, error log, like a logbook will be there in the library, right? What is your name? What is your ID card? What is your ID number? Which books you are taking? What are the IDs of those books? When you are going to return, when you just took that books and all, you are going to write each and everything in the logbook, right? In the same way, we have error log. SQL server will write each and everything to this error log file. When the machine has been started, which database comes up, which database doesn't comes up, which login is having issues, everything will be written to the error log file. So this will help you to troubleshoot the instance, why the instance is not starting. That's why your error log file also is very important. So after that error log file, your master database log file will be started. Okay. So if you see here -l, master log.ldf. L means log file, E means error log, D means data file. These are the startup parameters. So whenever you start any SQL server, first these three files are going to start: master database data file, master database log file, and error log file. These three files are going to start. If anyone deleted anything like this, okay, someone deleted -d, okay, and just saved, okay. If I delete, say select here, if I simply delete the -d and if I update now, okay, if I click on add button, it will be added here. If I click on apply button, that's it, your SQL server will not come online. Why? Because if you change any settings to the startup parameters, if you removed anything, your SQL, why? Because it will simply check whether all parameters are there or not. If any parameter is missed, it will try to, or else if you simply remove this location, or else if you simply remove this location, then what happened? It will try to access the path. Okay, it will try to access that path, but unfortunately this path is not there, right? If you see here, see program files, right? See program files like this. I am going to open this path. What happened? Automatically this path is not existed, right? I'll get the error like this. If I open in the run, okay, if I open this path here, see here, Windows cannot find this path. So if Windows cannot find the path, it cannot access master database data files and log files. So immediately your installation will not be started. Why I am discussing these points means, if you are unable to start the installation, check the startup parameters first, whether the startup parameters are working fine or not. Check the startup parameters. Okay, if everything is looking good, how to check it? Simply copy the file and try to check whether this path, not -e, leave it, and check whether -e, -d, -l is prefixed or not. Then you have to simply copy this path, okay, up to here, up to log, control C, and here just open a file explorer. Okay, just open a file explorer like this and try to paste here. Okay, if this path is accessible, then you can easily see this is the error log file folder. Okay, if this path is accessible, then all like your startup parameters are working fine. Like that, you have to check for every path and you have to, okay, try accessing those paths. So you can see, and if anyone removed -d, -e, -l or not, you have to see. Sometimes they are going to add some trace flags here. Okay, some trace flags, like if you want to start SQL in a single user mode or else in a safe mode, okay, you can add trace flags like -t, 1202, 1322, like that. Different trace flags will be there. Don't worry about it, don't remove those trace flags. Okay, those trace flags will be there. There will be extra trace flags will be there, but try just checking whether these paths are accessible or not, whether -d, -e, -l is there or not. Sometimes if I simply change the path of my master database, Okay, someone changed the master database log file location, then you are trying to start the SQL server. In the startup parameters, the log file location is showing in this location. Okay, MS SQL server data folder, but actually this master log.ldf file is there in another location. So that's why your SQL server is not going to start. You have to check in which path that file is there. If you are unable to check it, what you can do is, okay, try to create one more log file in the current location, so that it is going to, okay, you cannot create of course without starting the SQL server. You have to troubleshoot it. Okay, there are a lot of ways to troubleshoot. So you have to make that file available in the particular location, or try to change the location where the file is available, then you can start it. So in this way you can easily fix the starting problems, right? Sometimes you are going to get these errors, SQL server is not starting and all. So what thing you have to check first, you have to check the error, this startup parameters first. Where I can see the startup parameters, open configuration manager, go to SQL Server Services, go to main service properties. There you can see the startup parameters. In this way, you can troubleshoot the, okay, here if you go to startup parameters, in this way you can troubleshoot the start like SQL Server failure, why SQL Server is not starting and all. You can simply check in this way. Okay, you can start in investigating why it is not starting like this. Okay, this is one step. Lot of steps are there, but this is one important step, right? Clear? So master database is very important. These and all things we can store in the master database. Next is model database. What model database will do? Simply model database will act as a template for newly created databases. Model database will act as a template for newly created database. Template means what? Template means what? Normally what is meant by template? So for example, you are in driving. Okay, someone is calling you. You are unable to lift the call. Okay, there you can see some templates. I'll call you later, I'm in driving. Okay, or else something templates will be there. Simply if you select the template, automatically it will send to that recipient. Okay, so templates means a predefined text. Here in the SMS language, a message template means a predefined text. In the same way, model database will act as a template for newly created databases. Okay, model database will act as a template for newly created databases. So sorry, not here, this one, right? Right, model database will act as a template for newly created database. Everything including data and tables will be copied and stored. Where you can see the model database, if you see here, go to management studio. Okay, there you can see the model database. What is the use of this model database? It will act as a template for newly created database. If I told you what is this template, say for example you want to create a new database. Okay, right click, new database. If you see here, there you can see lot of options. If I give you the name, okay, let me give you like something, Amazon database. Okay, so if I just give you the name here, then you can see lot of options here: rows, data file, and log file, and primary file group. Okay, and there is no file group concept for the log file. And you can see initial size is 3 MB, 1 MB, and it will be increment by 1 MB auto growth, and 10% is for log file, and it is going to store in this location. I didn't give any settings like this. I simply gave the database name. But from where it got all these settings? From where it got all these settings? Right, you can see, right? I just gave the database name. Other than that, I didn't change anything. But automatically I got these are all values. Okay, primary file group. Okay, 3 MB, 1 MB, 1 MB unlimited, and 10%, and most important, this path and all. So from where it got all these settings? From your model database. So simply what you are doing, whenever you are creating the new database, you are simply renaming the existing model database. Don't think like you are directly renaming the model database. Actually, in the backend, a model database copy will be created. You are going to rename that model database copy. Okay, you are going to rename that model database copy. In that way, it will act as a template for newly created databases. Your model database will act as a template for newly created databases. Whatever objects are there in the model database, say for example any tables are there, Okay, all the tables will be copied to the newly created databases. As of now, there is no system tables. Why? Because if you have system tables, all the system tables will be copied to the user databases. That's why usually tables will not be there in the model database. But if you go views and all, you can see some system views. All the system views will be copied to the newly created databases. Say for example, if you go to employee database, I just created the employee database. Nothing I created, right? Some tables I have created in the employee database, but I didn't created any views. But if you see here, all the views has been copied. Okay, these are all the views. From where you got all these views? From your model database you got all these views. Okay, I haven't created single view as well. Okay, so view means simply a virtual table kind of thing. So like this, so model will act as a will act as a template for newly created databases. Okay, so if your model is not accessible, you cannot create new databases. If your model is not accessible, you cannot create new databases. So I have a question for you. If my model is not there, can I start the SQL server or not?
Cannot,
You
we cannot.
You cannot start.
Yes.
Why?
you can
If my model database is not available, can I start my SQL server or not?
Affect instance on the functionalities by because it is a system database.
What kind of functionalities will be affected? So simply if
See what
model is not available, I cannot create new databases. But what is the problem with my instance? It has to up and running, right? Your instance should be up and running. Maybe one functionality like creating new databases will not work, but the server will be up and running, right? It should be up and running, right? Any other reason we have? If my model is corrupted, my SQL instance is going to be started or not? If
will
my
start.
model is corrupted, it will start. Okay, fine. Aarti, Madhavi, Mani. I guess you told the answer, right? And Ritesh, Rajesh, Siva, Saujanya, Anthony. Just tell yes or no, nothing is there. Just yes or no, that's it. If my model is corrupted, can I start my SQL server or not? No problem, just guess it at least. Okay, so I'll tell you the answer later, okay? Whether we can start the SQL server or not, what is the exact reason? If we start the SQL server, what is the reason? If we cannot start the SQL server, what is the reason? I'll tell you, okay? Right? Fine. Right. So, and the next system database is model database. Okay. I'm going to give you one assignment for you. Okay. Just open a model database session. Open a session from the model database. How to open any session from any database, not only from model database. If I asked you to open a query from any database, open a session from any database, both are same only. Query or session, both are same. How to open a query from this model database or any database?
Choose model and
Just you can right click and you can select new query. Okay, you can see here, or else here you can select model database. In the drop down list you can select model database. Okay, select here first, then it will be enabled. There you can select model database or model, select the model database, control N. Okay, control N, right? Then a session will be opened from the model database. Okay, then try creating new database. Open a session from the model database, try creating the new database and tell me the answer. Okay, open a model database, try creating the new database. Right, I just open a session from the model database. Right, now just try to create a new database, give the name and click OK and let me know what is the result. Okay, fine. So that is the assignment. Okay, right. Next system database is MSDB. Okay, MSDB. So this MSDB is an optional database. MSDB is an optional database. It will help you for the automation purpose, right? For example, I have 100 databases. Usually in the organization, we have regular tasks like taking the backups of the databases. Okay, and we have to run some like database check dbcc check db queries on all the databases. We have to do some indexing and all. So regular activities will be there in the organization. So for that, usually we are going to follow the automation. Say for example, in my SQL server, if 100 databases are there, it will be very difficult to take the backup of all the 100 databases manually, right? Like that, I have 1,000 instances. In 1,000 instances, I have 10 databases per each instance. On an average, I have 10 databases. If I have 1,000 instances, 1,000 into 10, 10,000 databases are there. Is it possible to take the manual backups on all these 10,000 databases? It's not possible, right? Hardly in the shift, one or two people will be there. One or two DBS will be there. It will be very difficult to take the backups, okay, manually. 1 minute, please. Now, Lakshmi. Right, okay. So it will be very difficult to take the backups manually on all the databases. Okay, and again it will be very difficult to run the dbcc checkdb and all the databases manually. So these are the automation things. Okay, we can easily automate these kind of things using your msdb. Msdb will help you to create the jobs. Job means what? Say for example, if you want to take the backups automatically on all the databases on all the servers, what you can do for that? Simply create a job and schedule it. If you schedule for Sunday night 12 o'clock, automatically once at Sunday night 12 o'clock, once the clock is moved to 12 o'clock, immediately the job will start automatically and it will only start taking the backups. Okay, so in this way you can automate the things. But for automate the things, msdb plays crucial role. Msdb should be there for automation kind of thing. So msdb is an optional database. It is used for an automation.